What's up, you legends? Just before we dive in, I have spent the last 3 months creating a complete mini course on the exact steps I took to go from struggling rep all the way up to top 1% closer, closing over $19 million in high ticket sales. So if you want that training completely free, delivered straight to your inbox, the link is in the description. Joshua.
Mustacheless Jeff.
It's gone.
It's gone.
We weren't going to discuss the stash, but seeing as though it's an ex-stash. Yeah. Do you know what?
There was an adjustment period. You shaved it, and I was like, oh,
then you missed
it. Like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I got coffee foam on it, and because my brain just goes, straight tism, I just went, that's it. I'm fucking straight in the mirror, shaved the whole thing off. And literally 30 seconds prior, I'd just been going, God, I like this stash. That's how fickle my brain is.
Yeah. The adjustment period was very quick. I very quickly came back to common sense.
Good.
I went, yep.
Good.
You're much better without it.
All right. Well, I appreciate the backhanded compliment, I think.
Yeah. That's all good. By the way, I looked fucking horrendous on our last podcast.
In what way?
You need to start having more kind conversations with me. I had a dirty hat. My beard was all scruffy. I genuinely looked about 25 stone.
That was only because of the thumbnail that I made.
No, that wasn't even a thumbnail. That was just reality hitting me like a brick. So I've had the haircut, which sort of frames the face a bit more.
Looking good. Looking crisp.
I've got back to my 20,000 steps a day, so I've already done a couple of kilos. Time to get shredded again.
Very good, mate. You back in the gym yet?
Nah, won't talk about that.
All right, okay. 20,000 steps a day, though. That's a good start.
My elbows and my bicep. My bicep's still ready to blow up, so I've got...
I still got golfer's elbow. I can do pressing movements. I can press, but anything curl or anything like back.
I love it when you say curl.
Curl. For fuck's sake, whatever.
Yeah. One of the closers on one of the teams that I manage is from Prague, and he's got an American accent. And obviously it's a UK offer, and there's so many words that he says like mate, and he's just got like this fake English accent when he says certain words, and it just sounds so funny. It's the same when you say curl. You just go into this completely different accent.
Curl. Okay,
Curl.
let's move on.
What are
we talking about?
Objections.
Objectioners.
Talk
to me then. How do we handle objections, Josh?
Not like most of the fuckheads on social media.
Well, let's start there. How should we not handle objections?
Okay, well, caveat. Objection handling, we've probably said it before, but I think it needs saying again because so many people still miss this. Objection handling only works if you've had a good discovery and effectively aligned a pitch so that your prospects see it as the safest, easiest, risk-free solution that's different from everything else they've tried in the past, everything that is keeping them stuck, and it will actually get them to where they want to be. That is something that no one ever really talks about. They just go, yeah, here's me and ChatGPT and my mates and a voice changer, and this is what you need to say. No one touches the fact that you've done an absolute shithouse of a discovery. Your pitch was the most boring thing that prospect has heard this year, but yet this magical objection framework is going to get you over a piss poor performance.
Never.
The
Agree? Best objection handling framework is not going to convince somebody to buy if, for example, if your pitch is piss weak. Somebody said to me the other day, they went, well, the pitch isn't important, is it, if you've done a great job of discovery? And I was like, oh, fuck, let me rub my temples a minute. I was like, why is that person on the call? And they go, well, to learn, what you do and how much it costs and how it works. I was like, exactly. So if your explanation of all of that stuff is absolutely terrible, and at the end of your pitch, they're thinking, this sounds a bit shit, doesn't matter how good your objection handling is, they're never going to buy. So your pitch has got to be good because that's the thing they're actually there for. How does it work? How long is it going to be? How much does it cost? Is this going to solve my problem? So you've got to have a good discovery. You've got to have a good pitch because otherwise it's going to sound shit. Then you're still going to get some objections. But providing the other two phases, the discovery and the pitch, have been done well, your objection handling will be infinitely more effective.
Yeah. So we've covered, to some extent, on this channel, what a discovery should be. So plain doubt, cost desire, money, support, and trust, installing the empowering beliefs, shutting down, pre-handling any objections. The pitch, I was actually really surprised at this, a bit random. I was YouTubing videos for pitch the other day. Do you know how little... Let me think how to speak in English. Do you know how little? Do you know how many little videos there are on actually pitching? There is really not a lot. There's a lot of, a 1,000,001 objection handles. Here's what you say when they say this. There are very few videos on how to actually pitch.
Interesting.
Maybe one or two odd ones in there. I think for the sake of this, because we are going to focus on objections, the pitch, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. High level promise. What do we actually achieve? What is the transformation? What's the result? What's the bridge? How do we bridge? How do we show them from where they are to where they want to be? Deliverables, support. If we were going to really dumb it down. Add-ons? Yes, no?
No, that's it.
That's it. Right? So if you do that, the next thing, we transition to the close. We can temperature check. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being this sounds absolutely horrendous. It's nothing that I want to be involved with. 10, this sounds like everything I've been missing, I'm looking for. I'm ready to move forward to today. Where do you land? They give us a confident yes, which is what we're looking for. If they give us a, sounds okay, sounds good, fuck me, something's wrong. Yeah? If you were at the aisle and you're ready to make those lifelong vows, and you look at your partner and they say, do you take your partner's hand? And you go,
And they went,
so
you'd be like,
yeah, we've missed something here. Why the hell are we here? The exact same thing. So we need a confident yes. If we don't get that confident yes, something is missing. And we want that. We want to find out, we want to smoke out the objection before price is on the table. So, okay, what is it that is stopping you from being less than 100% certain that this is what you actually need to get from where you are to where you want to be, become that version of yourself, whatever it is? And we like to use definitive language. What is stopping you from being less than 100% certain? Because it flushes out the objection. Even if they go, well, I'm never going to sound 100% about anything, but you could just be like, well, you could be. So what is stopping you from being less than 100%? Get the money, the time, the fear, the uncertainty. Whatever it is, handle it before price is on the table. Then, once we've got a really confident yes, Josh, this sounds fantastic. I really do truly feel and believe this is the next natural, easiest step to get me from here to here. Then we stand a much better chance of effectively objection handling. I think we're 8 minutes in. We had a couple of minutes of talking bollocks. That 5-minute bit in between is what so many closers are missing, and why objection handling fails, because they don't understand that premise of setting up the close and effectively objection handling.
I totally agree. Totally agree with you. Objection handling is only effective if, like we said, if the person wants to do it, but if you fucked up your discovery and you've ruined your pitch and you've pitched them in a way where they think, I don't think this is going to solve my problem at all the objection handling in the world is for nothing. It's all useless. So we've got to get those two components right, and then we can move on to objection handling.
Yeah. Right. Let's start with the partner objection, because again, I've never heard any of the Miami, Dubai fuck level bosses talking about this shit. Partner, in my opinion, is one of potentially the most complicated objections to handle, because it is not just heavy is the head that wears the crown, whose responsibility is it? Yes, that comes into it. There are different factors. There are religious factors. There are ethnic factors. There are dynamics between husband and wife, a husband, a wife, penguin and an octopus, whatever people are identifying as these days.
Penguin and an octopus.
Teletubby, whatever, okay? Sometimes, and again, I say it's the most complicated because part of it can be a smokescreen. It can be I'm hiding behind this because this is just the way I make decisions. I don't like to feel like I'm making these decisions quickly. So I'm going to defer it to a convenient outside third party that isn't here. Smokescreen, handle that. Okay. Partner aside. Anyway, we'll come to the scripting. There is then, it's an FYI conversation. 100% doing this just out of respect. I need to go and talk to them about it, which then we can do a bit more of a, responsibility close, stand a better chance of closing. If it's a dynamic between a husband and a wife, religious, ethnic factors, probably maybe 1% of the time, I don't know, maybe from an ethical standpoint, it's going too far. You don't really want to push that. At the end of the day, that is their relationship. That is the dynamic. That's the religious factors. There are plenty of people that would say, fuck it, still go for the responsibility close. It mean you would lean the other way and go, we need to coach them through then having that decision to stand the best chance of closing.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on the avatar that you're selling to as well. Do you know what I mean? The whole heavy as a head that wears the crown and the responsibility close, and isn't it your job to take responsibility for the household income and all that kind of stuff? That will work on a less advanced prospect, like a B2C, biz op, that kind of stuff. You can get away with that. Dude, you try and any of that shit with a slightly more sophisticated prospect and you're going to get told to go and fuck yourself. So there's also the factor of who is my market? Who am I speaking to? Is this a sophisticated person or is this somebody, who you can ragdoll a little bit? Because I've seen people try and use that responsibility frame on, people that run multi-million-dollar businesses and they get told to go and fuck themselves. Yeah. The guy on the other end of the phone just looks at him like, are you for real? Are you actually for fucking real right now? Why don't you kiss my ass and I'm going to send a fucking email to your boss telling him what a piece of shit you are? Like, honest, yeah. I've seen calls go so hard south. So a lot of it has got to do with who are you speaking to. Is it, if it's biz op B2C and you've got a not very sophisticated prospect, you can get away with a responsibility frame. If it's anybody slightly more sophisticated, then you've got to tread a lot more lightly. You've got to be cautious. You've got to ask probing questions like, well, what do you think your wife will say when you bring this to her? Do you think she'll be on board or do you think she'll freak out? Oh, I think she'll be on board. Well, what makes you think she will though? Well, we've already had a couple of conversations. She knows that I'm going to invest. She's told me that I've got the green light. I just want to run it by her. Do you know what I mean? You just need to probe on that a little bit. Find out where you're at. Okay, and what if she says no? Just playing devil's advocate. What if she vetoes it? Well, my wife doesn't make the decisions. I make the decisions. Okay, so what would happen if she did veto it? Dude, I'd be doing it anyway. Now you can go for the close. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you're going to do it anyway, regardless of what your wife says, let's get started right now. Mm-hmm. Or at least you can default to a deposit. Well, look, let's get 1,000 down. I can start spinning everything up on the back end, start putting everything into place. You go and speak to your wife. And if, for some bizarre reason, she threatens you with divorce, then I can send you the money back. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. But at least we've taken a step forward into fixing the actual problem. Now they're going to do one or two things. They're either going to go, yeah, okay, sounds good. Or they're going to go, well, no, I don't want to before I've spoken to my wife. In which case you've just flushed an uncertainty objection. And you can say, well, hang about. You just told me no matter what she says, you were going to do it. So like cards on the table, dude, what's actually going on? What is actually preventing you from, pulling the trigger and making this decision? Just be real with me, like shoot me straight. And then that's the kind of, what we call the come to Jesus conversation, because at the end of the day, as far as I see it, the purpose of objection handling is not to do loop after loop after reframe, swimming around in smoke screens. It's like trying to fight a ghost. If you're not dealing with the real objection, with the real thing, then all these loops and reframes are absolutely fucking useless. But if you can get somebody to tell you the truth, if you can get somebody to go, all right, Jeff, look, here's the thing, right? And actually tell you the truth. Now you've got the real objection that you can handle. Is it money? Is it fear? Is it, skepticism of you or themselves or whatever? But so long as you're handling the real objection, the come to Jesus, the cards on the table, kind of man to man, shoot me straight. What is honestly behind you wanting to delay making this decision? Be real with me. That kind of a conversation is probably one of the closest things to a cheat code I've ever come across. And I think where a lot of closers go wrong is that they spend so long doing what they think is handling objections, but all they're doing is swimming around in smoke screens. So they're not actually addressing the root cause, the root problem.
Yeah. And that's the other side to the partner objection. Like I said, it can be a smokescreen, and you can absolutely balls up the sale by taking the partner as that's their objection. I'm going to go for the responsibility clause. I'm going to all this XYZ go off in this, completely wrong direction. All whilst what the prospect is actually thinking, too nice to say, is, yeah, your pitch was terrible, mate. I don't see how this actually sells me. So I'm just trying to be nice and defer it so I can get off this call. And then all you do is start pissing off the prospect. So the simplest way, as we will teach anyone to handle any objection, paste the first objection. So you drop the price. Yeah, it sounds great. You need to go and talk to my partner about it. No problem at all. Aside from having that chat with your partner, is there anything stopping you from feeling less than 100% certain that this is actually what you need to get from X to Y, get tangible emotional outcome? And again, looking for the level of certainty. If they go, dude, I'm fucking so 100% in, I just, out of respect for my wife, we've been together for 20 odd years, this is a 10K investment coming out, I just need to have that conversation. If they deliver it like that tonality, that conviction, I'm fucking 100% in, then we can, still dig a little bit just to make sure. But if you're good at reading people, you're just going to take that as, dude, I get it. I don't want to be the cause of any divorces here. I've got a partner myself. I know what it's like. The other side of it is, you say, is there anything stopping you from being less than 100% certain? And they go, and then we start going, okay, chances are the partner is just a happy, easy, convenient out. So then we go, okay, so purely on your level of confidence, that if you were to come in and give it 100%, what is your confidence level that you get from X to Y with what we've laid out here, the process? And get their buy-in. Because if they're not bought in, how the hell are they then going to go and sell it, if they need to their partner, if they're like 75% themselves? Now, some people may progress with do you know what, I just need to run it by her. I quite like the past reframe. Okay, is it fair to say you've probably looked at making some big investments in the past with your partner? Yeah, we've looked at stuff before. Okay, when you've looked at similar things in the past, what is it that's ultimately held you back from moving forward? And now they're not talking about current events. They're talking about things that's happened in the past. But the chances are what's happened in the past will be the same as what's going to stop them from moving forward in the present, in the future. It was a lot of money. We didn't see X, Y, Z. Okay, maybe I'm completely wrong. Is it fair to say that that is also a factor here? Like, if you were 100% confident that we were going to get the result, would you see this as a good investment? And just going in and probing. And then if you ask those questions, you might find that the partner objection just sort of slips away. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, dude, I didn't realize we could do that. I didn't realize that was involved. And then you can almost put the partner aside and be like, again, tell me if I'm wrong. Is it fair to say you don't actually need to talk to the partner? The real hesitation for you moving forward is X, Y, Z that we haven't covered. Yeah, do you know what, Josh? Actually, that's the objection. Although I won't say objection, but that's the concern.
Yeah.
But you can only do that if you actually, again, are in the conversation, listening to their level of certainty, asking the right questions, not being too quick to jump on objections. There's another side of this. This could be like a 25-hour long podcast, right? Where that's just their way of making decisions. That's their decision-making process. That's a nice way of actually saying, I need to think about it. But they're sort of rehashing, I need to think about it, is let me talk to the partner. What they really mean is I need to figure this out myself. And then we can challenge the thought-making process. Okay, is it fair to say that the decisions and actions that you actually got back one, are you 100% happy with where you are in your life, your business, your health, fitness? No. Okay. Is it also fair to say that the decisions and actions that you have taken in the past in some way have got you to where you are here today? Yes. Okay. So in order to not keep repeating the mistakes of the last 5 years, would it be fair to say we need to make different decisions and actions going forward? Yes. You told me earlier in the call, you've been on 5 other calls and you haven't actually pulled the trigger on any of them. And that was because of procrastination, nerves, all this sort of stuff. What if, cost of an action, you allow it to keep continuing? What has it already cost you in the past? What does it cost you going forward? Are you willing, prepared to settle for that? Or do you need to step up to the plate, be the man you need to be, identity, to overcome and get to a new outcome?
Don't forget, if you want the free training and the complete mini course on all of these processes where we go super deep and give you the inside scoop, mini course is in the description. Perfect. All of those objection handles are really just identity reframes. It's like a responsibility frame. Do you know what I mean? Whether they give you a partner or whether they give you fear or whether they give you procrastination or any of that stuff, it's essentially an identity responsibility frame. You know what I mean? Whose responsibility is it whether or not you actually pull your family out of poverty and get yourselves to X, Y, and Z, wherever they said they want to go? Well, it's my responsibility. Right. And what have you done about that over the last few years? How many times have you invested? Well, I haven't. I've never pulled the trigger. So what if you continue to allow procrastination to dictate the results you and your family get moving forward? Where does that put you 12 months, 2 years from now, or in the same place? And are you okay with that? No. It's like, it's pushing responsibility. It's like, dude, it's like professional gaslighting. It's essentially what it is. You know what I mean? But a lot of the time it's like, and this always divides an audience, right? Because some people will go, that's fucking bullshit. You should never manipulate anybody to do it. It's like, manipulation in itself isn't bad. If you manipulate somebody to not jump off a bridge, is manipulation bad? No. You save somebody's life by using manipulation. So manipulation isn't bad so long as it's being used for the right reason. Now, so long as you're selling a good product, a good service that's actually going to help this person, then essentially you're using manipulation to get that person away from the ledge, right? Now, if you're selling something that's absolute bullshit and you know they're going to lose their money, A, don't do that. B, go and find a new fucking offer to sell, because nobody should ever sell something that doesn't have excellent success rates and, you know, a back end team that actually cares about the results of their customers and stuff like that. So all of this stuff is, it's psychology. And is it manipulation? Yes. And all the rest of it. But so long as you're doing it for the right reasons, and so long as using a tactic like that is in that person's best interest, you should never use this kind of shit if it's not the right thing for them to do. But if it is the right thing for them to do, and it's just a little bit of fear preventing them from doing it, then, you know, go ham.
The way that we will, you know, the analogy we always use with the group, you were a car forecourt, you've been looking for a car, you knew you needed a new car, your one was breaking down, you've done the test drive, you're 100% in, and the dealer says to you, you know, let's go in and do the paperwork. Even if you didn't have the money, even if you had to wait until Friday for the check to clear, if you were 100% convinced and sold that was the vehicle for you, would you really need to go and talk to the partner? Would you need 2 weeks to think it over? Would you need to go and look at 5 other, you know, Kia Sportages, whatever car it is that you're there to buy, right? I don't know why that came to mind. I should have just said car. Anyway.
Yeah, Sportage.
I don't know why that came to mind.
Some fucking weapon you've chosen there, mate.
Getting it earth. You wouldn't. You would just be like, this is the car for me. It might not be right now here today because I don't get paid till the end of the week, but I am confident to move forward. So apply the same thing to your prospects. If they were 100% in, or discovering your pitch is your test drive, essentially. Doing our temperature check is sitting with them, going over the paperwork, making sure the monthly adds up in the deposit. Right? Do you want this? Do you understand the terms? Blah, blah, blah. If they were 100% in, why would they need to kick it down the road? Why would they need to wait until Christmas is out of the way? Why would they need to, whatever their objection is? So if they don't have that level of confidence, but it would stand to reason that something is missing. They are not 100% convinced. They are not 100% sold because, we'll then go to the other end of that. Let's say we think we've solved it and we're like, cool, but let's do this. We put down a deposit, a down payment, however you want to, whatever direction you want to go. That way, even if we need to add an extra 10 days, 14 days so you get Christmas out of the way, that's covered. You come in, you get started, we start building. And they still say, no. Well, then that's your indication that, we are on the wrong track. Because it's like, okay, again, come to Jesus, shoot me straight here. I'm only trying to help you get the result you've told me you want. We found an option to make that work where you can put that down payment, we can come in and get you building. And you're neglecting to take that option, take that olive branch, whatever. Shoot me straight. What is honestly coming up for you that is making you want to put distance between making the change you know you need to make?
Yeah. Flush the real objection. Yeah. Nice.
That's partner. Obviously, there are so many objections. The framework stays the same, right? Whatever comes up first, just paste the first objection. Because again, that's another mistake people make is they just jump on it straight away. Oh, do you know what? It's a lot of money. Okay, cool. Do we need to talk about a payment plan then? Dude, what the fuck? What does it's a lot of money mean?
Does it mean that's too much money? Does it mean it's more money than your competitors? Does it mean it's a lot of money, but I'm prepared to find it? Does it mean that's a lot of money and I'd never pay that in a million years? Like what does it actually mean? Yeah. And people
does
don't
it mean you've done a terrible discovery and a bad pitch and I'm just like, oh, that's a lot of money? Because again, a nice way of getting off the call. Maybe it's a lot of money for what you've pitched to them because they're like, dude, this does not sound like it solves my problems.
But you've also got to check that level of certainty, which is why it's important to always paste that first objection. No worries, dude. I can appreciate that it is a reasonable investment. Money aside, how do you actually feel about the program? Forget the money for a minute. Put a pin in that. Do you actually feel with a very high level of certainty that if you come in and do this program, it's going to get you to XYZ result?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're either going to go, oh, God, yeah, I mean, the program sounds gangster, dude. Okay, good. They're sold on the program. Yeah. Now it's probably just money. But a lot of the time when you ask them that question, they'll go, and you go, okay, so what's making them throw a money objection at me is actually uncertainty that the program's going to work. So now you can handle the real objection, which all, brings us all the way back around to in objection handling, you have to make sure you're handling the correct objection, not just, arm wrestling with a fucking ghost.
Yeah. The other thing, and we did this drill with the group yesterday, was really tightening up the language because there is a world of difference between going, okay, cool, so money aside, do you want to do it? To going, okay, money aside, do you truly believe and feel that in comparison to what you have been doing and struggling with for the last 5 years that hasn't got you the outcome you need for yourself and your family, this is the actual vehicle that gets you there inside of a time frame? Absolute world of difference.
Huge.
On his side, would you do it? Yeah, because it's a very open, could mean anything sort of question. I could actually say that quite confidently. I could be like, yeah, because I don't actually know what it means as the prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Just like money aside, would you do it? Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, so I'll just agree to it. Yeah.
Money aside, what is your level of confidence that the example I just gave? Yeah, you come in, you gave your 100%, you can put it back on them, because we know what we do works 100%. The variable in this situation is you. We've used the treadmill analogy before. Two people can buy a treadmill, one gets in the best shape of their life, the other blames the treadmill and the plan and, the world because it's against them, because they left it in their garage and never unpacked it. The same as the prospects. What is your level of confidence that you show up, throw down, and back yourself to win? And then we can gauge that a lot more. And then we can be like, look, if I'm being honest, Mr. Prospect, wasn't the most confident, yes, that you do see this as the vehicle. So if I can ask, what stands out to you about the program? What, if anything, do you feel is missing that you don't see yourself being able to get there with? And if they say nothing, okay, cool. So you see yourself being successful. You're not a special case. You're similar to everyone else that's been in the program. You believe and trust in us and our method and our process to get you there. All of that being true, what is actually coming up for you that makes you want to put space between this decision? whatever fucking objection they give us, that's like the 80-20. Okay. And then a lot of people, again, we've got a few people in the group who are, newer. So, it's definitely like reps in the gym. And we've seen it on Instagram where people be like, okay, cool. So you're just scared then? And you're like, it's like that Michael Scott meme where he's just like, I'm going to look really ugly doing this. Where he's like,
I love that meme.
But it is, I will never, I don't care what personality type they are, I will be very careful about using words like scared and even fear. I will always lean on the side of caution and just use the word nerves.
Just a bit of nerves. Yeah.
Is it fair to say it's a big decision, there's a little bit of nerves here? And then you reframe nerves into, yeah, do you know what? If they come out and outright say, yes, I'm scared, you use their language. Do you know what? It's completely normal to feel scared. It's a big decision. It's a big move, different to what you have been doing. If you were sat there cool as a cucumber, I might need to come and check your pulse because this is going to have, a big decision. So I'd be worried if you weren't. Talk to me. Help me understand, where does that fear come from? Past experiences, fear of themselves, fear of us, fear of all the different types of fear. But again, ask the questions, probe, understand what you're actually dealing with. If you don't, all right, here we are giving out Shakespeare, and they're just like, I'm a bit nervous about myself. I don't know that I back myself to win. And then you can coach them through it.
A lot of the time when people feel like that, they've invested in programs previously and they knew that the program could get them the result, but they didn't put the effort in. So it's like you said, right? It's fear of me, fear of you, fear of the past, sometimes fear of the future. So what kind of fear is coming up for them? And unless you dig and you ask and you figure it out, i.e. get the real fucking objection, you can't ever hope to handle the correct objection. I think that's like the 80-20 of objection handling. Make sure you're dealing with the correct objection.
Yeah.
If you can do that, objection handling is 10 times easier because you're not handling 3 or 4 objections when John turns around and says, well, it's a lot of money and I need to speak to the wife first and maybe now's not the right time. And you go, Jesus Christ, like, fuck, what do I handle first? Yeah. If you can find that all of that boils down to one core objection, usually the fear that they will lose money and not get the result. 9 times out of 10, we were talking about this in the group last night. If everybody that jumped on a call with you was 100% certain that if they spent this money, they would get the outcome they want, even if they were strapped for cash, they'd go and find that money from somewhere. So really, most objections come from the fact that the person is uncertain that if they spent the money, they'd get the outcome.
Yeah.
Most objections. That's like the 80-20. And that fear, would they be afraid if somebody said, this is 100% guaranteed? Absolutely. You cannot fail. We're going to do everything for you. And if they believed that, they'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll find the money. I'll get the money if it's 100% guaranteed. If they truly thought that they would 100% get the outcome, you'd have like a 99% close rate.
Yeah. I'd go further than the 80-20. I'd say it's like the 95-5. Because as you said, if they were 100% certain, an objection that a lot of people hear when it comes to like leveraging credit is, well, I don't want to take on credit. I don't, I have this conditioning around why credit is bad. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a different side to that. And we've talked about it before. Let's say you grow up in a family where your entire family has always told you that credit cards are the devil and you should always use your own money. There is a deeper level of understanding that you need to shift a belief on there. On the flip side of that, if they had 100% confidence that they would get the result, why would they not leverage a resource that is there? Especially in like, whether it's an ROI offer or a non-ROI offer, specifically for an ROI offer, how many property investors build a property portfolio with all of their own money?
None of them.
Absolutely none of them. They leverage resources because it allows them to scale faster.
It allows them to keep their capital in the bank and leverage somebody else's money so that they can make profit off of that money.
Yeah. It's less risky using someone else's money. But prospects will sort of have that the other way around and look at it as a risk to use it. But again, it comes back to, if you were 100% certain that you came in, you threw down, you worked with us for the next 6 months, it gets you to where you want to be. If you 100% believe that, you would go and access that resource. So the question stands, what is it that's coming up for you that makes you feel less than 100% certain that you would get that, Because we can show you case studies, testimonials, all of that. I know you don't care about that. It's a biased, point of view. We're talking about you here. Why do you feel like you wouldn't get it? Well, what have we covered? Partner, fear, pacing. The Christmas one would be fun because
We
we're
finish
that
on the
sort of
Christmas
time.
one, seeing as though it's nearly the big day. Fun fact as well, we're going to do a Christmas pod next week, Santa hats, and maybe have a little drinky poo. So normally these conversations go pretty fucking far south. I'm intrigued to see what happens after a little tipple for Christmas.
We talk a lot of bollocks very sober, so
Yeah.
we'll see what comes out.
Okay, so definitely tune in. So
Well,
Christmas
hang on.
objection.
Before we finish on the Christmas one, let's just do a little wrap up or very quick summary of other objections. What have we done? Done money, for time. You should never get the time objection, as in I don't have the time to commit to this, because that is a very easy before you go anywhere near a pitch. Okay, so to work with us to get the results, take you from A to B, that is going to require you to put in X amount of time. Is that something that you can commit to get the result, to change your situation? 100% I can commit to that. If we get to objections, then I don't have the time. You can just be like, dude, what the fuck?
You just told me 100% you could commit to that. Yeah.
What are you talking about? We'll shut that down. That could be a smokescreen.
That's a pre-handle. You should never, ever get that objection at the end of a pitch.
Yeah. Think about it. A little pre-handle that I always used to ask is like, okay, how long has this been a problem? And then you could just ask like, okay, so how long have you been thinking about solving this problem? And just sort of set them up. You go through doubt, a bit of cost, and then you can just be like, okay, so is it fair to say we need to stop thinking about it and start doing something about it? Doesn't mean it's going to remove the think about it objection, but you can sort of plant that little seed. The whole point in the belief ladder, by the way, is pre-handing objections. We'll throw that in there. If you get the belief ladder, that shuts down most of them. What else are big ones? Partner, again, another controversial take. You get partner the most when you've done a really shit discovery, and especially for B2C, when you've done a shit discovery and pitch. If you've done a good discovery and pitch, you get the partner objection far less. Money, logistics, open wallet. There's a whole training on that inside of the group. We're running out of time, so you're going to have to pay some money if you want that. No, I'm only joking. We're doing a free module. Should we talk about that before we finish as well?
Sure, let's talk about that.
Cool. We'll do that after we've done the Christmas objection to wrap it up. What else? What are the big ones? Why is my mind going blank? It's because I'm sat down. I'm normally stood up.
Time should never occur. Money, open wallet. Partner, we've covered. Think about it. Smokescreen for fear 99 times out of 100. And then there's like specific types of objections, like now, because everybody at the moment is getting smashed with, well, yeah, sounds great. I think I'll start after Christmas. I'll start in the new year.
Burned in the past is a big one, and an easy one that should come up in discovery. And there's, two trees coming off of that. Burned in the past, it was a shit program. No one ever got a single result from it. Okay, so is it fair enough to say that you didn't get the result because you were following an unproven plan? What did it teach you? To be more curious, find what you actually need going forward. Cool. The other side of it is you went in, you didn't give your all. So did you actually get burned, or did you not show up for yourself? Reframing that. Due diligence, that's a nice one that people like to get. Well, I only found you like yesterday. Exact same. Pace the objection. Well, other than the fact that you found us yesterday, what is your confidence level? What is stopping you from being less than 100% certain that this is what you need to get you from A to B? Okay. Going one level deeper, what's behind the time? What is it that if we'd have came across us 45 weeks ago would make difference? Now, yeah, we know 7-4, there is going to be trust there. It doesn't mean we're always 100% going to get it, but pace the objection. People just like to throw it out as a smokescreen for, guess what? Drum roll, please, fucking uncertainty, which is what 99% of it all comes back to. You've done a shit pitch, shit discovery. Right, Christmas objection. Are we going to do top of the call or end of the call?
I'll do top of the call.
Oh, but I like top of the call. It's
I
funny.
know you do, you bastard. The best way to handle the Christmas objection is to not get it in the first place. The easiest way to prevent it from becoming is when you jump on a call, you go, hey, Josh, crikey, I'm kind of surprised you're here. I thought you were going to not rock up. And they go, what? Why did you think I wouldn't turn up? Did you know what time of year it is? Do you know how many people go, oh, I'll do it after Christmas? And you've got to pull that face and make that voice, because you've got to make an enemy of the type of person that would say, I want to wait until after Christmas. So the word track would be, do you know how many people are like, oh, I'll fix it after Christmas? You and I probably both realize that they are the people that never move their business forwards, never fix the problems. So, dude, kudos for rocking up when the rest of the weak world mob are delay until the new year. Dude, the chances of that person now giving you the Christmas objection after you've just identity labeled them as not being a sap, not being somebody who doesn't move their business forwards is minute. So for me, the best way to handle the Christmas objection is to pre-handle the Christmas objection. What if it still comes up?
Then they're just a bit of a sap, for one. If it was the Christmas objection at the end of the call, guess what I'm going to do? So that I say, right, the investment is just this. How do you want to proceed? And they're like, yeah, it's great. I just want to start after Christmas. No problem. Christmas aside, what is your level of confidence that if you come in, it actually gets you from where you are to want to be?
There's a pattern forming.
There's a bit of a pattern forming. Now, they could, the obvious way is it's a smokescreen for uncertainty, because the timing doesn't matter. We can reframe that into, look, dude, if this is the number one constraint in your business right now, this is what's stopping your revenue from going 30K a month to 100K a month. There's 3 weeks, 30 days, 3 days makes sense to delay fixing the number one constraint in your business. If the number one problem in your marriage right now is how you're showing up, does it make any sense to pace this out 3 weeks, 30 days? 3 weeks, 3 days? No. Okay. They may say, do you know what? I'm going to be really wrapped up with time, and I might share an alternative perspective and say, do you know what? I think you're going to have more time than you normally do. You know, when you go on holiday, a lot of people say they want to start on holiday. What is it you're actually doing on holiday? Do you maybe have like a 30-minute swim in the sea and then you lie on the sun lounger for 8 hours a day? Do you normally find you actually get a lot of clarity from not having the stress of normal life and a boss breathing down your neck and people to talk to? Do you find you get most inspired when you've got time off? Yeah, do you know what? Sometimes, most of the time, actually, I do find that. Would it be fair to say that stepping into the new year as the version of you that has a plan to change what's been happening for the last 5 years, would that be a terrible scenario to have? No, it wouldn't. So would you agree with me that actually it's not a terrible time? And if anything, it's the best time?
Drop
Boom,
that
boom.
blue tack.
Thank the room.
Where's your blue tack? Fuck's sake, drop that blue tack.
I've stopped doing it because it keeps getting pressed into my skin and I have really sticky fingers more than I usually do. Anyway, what were we going to say? Module in the group. As always, we've got to do a little bit of plugging our own stuff. Let's do a little plug.
We're going to put a completely free module in the group so that if anybody's on the fence about what we teach and how we teach it, you can come in totally free, school.com/remote closing lab. And you can get a little taste of what we teach, how we teach it, what it looks like to be a part of the crew, the whole 9 yards. So if you are curious but don't want to spend the money, come in, get a freebie, have a taste. If you like it, great. If you don't, you've lost nothing.
100%. So even our top level thing is like £100 a month, right? But we know the times that we're in, it's even spending £1. The same as like why payment plans fail when you haven't covered certainty and there's no trust. If they don't know it's going to work, if they don't trust you, it's going to be very hard to get a payment plan.
We're trying to develop your trust so that you feel confident paying us money.
Yeah, and we are going to over-deliver, even in that free module. It's going to be the 80-20 of the 80-20. I think we've definitely had people just listening off the back of podcasts that have been like, do you know what? That has solved something that I've been struggling with. So we are going to put our heads together and make sure that if it was the free module to be all three modules, it gives you what you actually need. Because there are so many people out there that follow 100 different people, they stitch it all together, they just spiral around and around, not really making any progress. We hate to see it because we both know what it's like to feel like you have potential and not have the support and community you need to get you from where you are to where you want to be. We know how much noise there is in the industry. Big
And
things
if
are
that's
coming next
still
year.
too much of a jump, you can go down into the description and there is a complete 4-part mini course in the description, completely free on objection prevention. And it was the exact process I used to sell over $19 million in high ticket sales. So if the freebie is still too much of a leap, go and grab the free course on objection prevention. I can't do anything more in order to earn your trust. What more can I do? I could pay you, but that would be a shit business decision.
That would be an expensive client acquisition model.
It really would.
Pay you to.
How much did you make last month? Minus $50,000. Oh, all right. Well, that sounds fucking terrible.
But if you do want to hop in, like we said, it's the 80-20 of the 80-20. It's definitely going to help if you want to come and be involved in the community. We meet 5 times a week. There is nothing that we don't do for our community. We go above and beyond because first and foremost, it's a watering hole for us. We manage offers and it makes sense for us to have a pool of good reps who meet the standard and want to have the support they need to make the big money. So this is not us here even to really make money. It's just we need good reps for our offers.
It helps us fix a problem because we've got good reps for our offers, and it fixes a problem for the reps because they can get great offers. So it's like a win-win.
Right, see you for the Christmas party.
Don't be late for that one, boys and girls. It's going to be a wild ride.
See you next time, Jeff.
Later, mate.
Bye.